On the profile interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with the Deputy President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, who also doubles as the President General of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria. It brings us up to speed on how the Maritime Workers Union was able to come up with a collective bargaining agreement which allows workers to earn a living wage. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me again.
Congratulations on the signing of 200,000 naira minimum wage that workers in the shipping sector will be earning going forward from this month. Can you bring us up to speed on how your leadership was able to achieve this new feat?
Well, I want to thank you for this beautiful question. I think the glory goes to all the national officers of the great union, the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, the branches that believe in what we are doing. And we need to thank the Honorable Minister of the Economy, who have the love of the workers in his heart. You know, when he came in on board, he made this problem on ground, and he was able to direct the Shippers Council to midwife the process. Somebody have to start the struggle, and somebody must end it. So here we find ourselves. In shipping, we have a lot of challenges over the years where somebody will put in like 20 to 30 years. His retirement benefit is like a death sentence. But the way it is now, I think God have already take care of all those past mistakes of the past. So it's a challenge, but we thank God we're able to overcome it. We thank the proactive years of Shippers Council, the doctor, who will now name me as digital secretary, who was proactive enough to midwife it. Even when we have a lot of crises at the negotiating table, he was able to apply wisdom. As a leader and as a seasoned administrator, we appreciate him for the wonderful job he did, including the chairperson of SCAFE. That's the what was her name, Madam Barrister Boma Alabi, who happened to be the chairperson of the association. She's a wonderful woman too, who stood at the test of the right thing at the right time. So we appreciate them, we thank them.
What were the challenges that were on ground that did not allow decent wage thrive in such sector?
Well, port is like a country on its own, and it's very peculiar, where we have different employers of labor who doesn't believe in what the law says, and we are using the workers as a slave. We call them soldier hires. You can pick anybody on the road and become a clerk in the shipping. So no standard, there was no procedure, there was no process of say, okay, let us have a standard conditions for each worker in the shipping. But with this new development, I think we are good to go. So you cannot tell me I have about 10 or 30 employees under me or employer. So you are not telling me you cannot pay up to 200,000. So if we have paid 30,000 or 40,000 before, this agreement have taken care of all those ones. That you must, the consequential adjustment must be applied to make sure that you are able to meet that 200,000. So it has to do with some employers that you know very well. Some of them are not good, some of them are good, but we manage both the good, the bad, and ugly, make us to succeed in what we have gotten for the workers in shipping.
So moving forward, we know that in your sector, you've been able to achieve that minimum standard, and it's almost triple the amount of money that the federal government approved as the new national minimum wage. What's your observation about this wage? Even though it's been approved, it's yet to be implemented. As the Deputy President of NLC, what are your expectations? Well,
to me, I think everybody in the maritime sector today are talking of this current minimum wage in shipping. It's not minimum wage, so that people should not give us a sentiment of what is going on in maritime. It has to do with the condition of service that is meant for workers in shipping. is different from minimum wage. So if minimum wage that was being approved by the government is applied, it's going to be applied to those guys too. So there's difference between minimum wage, minimum standard, and that of minimum wage. So people should not mix them up. So that is, they'll be asking me, are we saying we are more than the 70,000 or whatever? And I said, we've been on this matter for close to years. And before we arrive in getting condition of service, just part of condition of service in shipping, that I think as a leader you have to do it. You have to fight for it, because many of my leaders tried it. They were unable to resolve it. But government is a continual one, and I need to do it, and that is what we did. So we did get it at Bed of Rose, or whether it's just free like that. They give us 200,000. It took us almost 4 years before we arrived at this minimum wage. So it's part of their condition of service that if you are retiring before, your take home is nothing, because some people are paying higher while some people are paying lower, and some people are not even paying conditional, they are not paying that gratuity or terminal benefit. So with this one, I think it has taken care of all those mistakes of the past.
Now, as an experienced trade unionist, would you want to share with us what is the essence of collective bargaining agreement? We know that we have public sector workers, we have private sector workers, and we also have some industries that are peculiar in nature: maritime, oil and gas, even the manufacturing sector. They also have their own peculiarities. So as an experienced trade unionist, would you like to share what is the importance of having collective bargaining agreements in a specialized sector?
It favors both parties. It's give and take. If you don't have condition of service, how do you expect the workers to perform? It falls in two ways. One, you've employed me as a worker, and there's no standard. There's nothing like terminal benefits, gratuity, salary structures. You didn't put them in place. There will be crisis. There will be problem here and there. And what you are seeing in the port today, we have different employers of labor in the ports. They say Nigeria Port Authority. So many employers from different categories of companies. Dangote is there, Greenview, they are out there. So many companies are there, but they have different condition of service. But there's need for you to key into that. If you don't key into their condition of service, you won't be able to get something better for the workers. Some people doesn't even know how to review the condition of service, their CBA. You need to review it. If it's 2 years, if it's 3 years, you must review it. So that every worker will have hope if they are leaving tomorrow. And that is what apply in shipping today, because they have plan by plan negotiation before. And the one we have just gotten now is 2 years. You review it. That minimum standard in shipping is 2 years. You have to review it upward. So the next 2 years, the workers have hope that they are still going to get something better on top of the 200,000 naira we're talking about. So it's give and take. The union must be assertive. You must be proactive in whatever you are doing, and you need to look at the books of the management.
We also know that casualization of workers, outsourcing of workers is the order of the day, generally, not just in the maritime sector. We have it in oil and gas sector and all. Would you say that those employers are actually practicing contract staffing like they should practice?
Yeah, they are doing it. It's what we did in Maritime was to make sure that those that you even put on the outsourcing, they become our members. That is the advantage of it. We will not allow you to outsource them and treat them as they are not part of you. We negotiated their exit. If they are leaving tomorrow, the union negotiated their exit. So the way and manner we handle it is different from other sectors. I cannot speak for other unions, but for me and my union, what we did was to make sure that all the outsourcing and the casualization of it, the workers, we make sure that we negotiated their condition of service. If you are telling us that you want to downsize, now we look at your books. How are you downsizing? How much are you paying them? For somebody that put in 10 years as a casual, how much are you paying them? So sometimes I ask them to backdate it and make sure that they give them what is better for them.
I was one of the journalists that witnessed the verification exercise of former NSL workers who are aged workers as we speak, retirement age. Can you bring us up to speed on what the union is expecting from various stakeholders, and what should the retirees be expecting accordingly?
Well, I want to thank you. It has to do with bureaucracy of government. Committee have been set up and they have finalized the assignments. They've carried out physical verifications of all the ages seafarers. Up to now, we've not heard from the committee. The committee are yet to give out the reports. But what the union is trying to do now is to meet with the authority that this thing is taking long, because the minister have directed that they should carry out the verification, which I think you witnessed. And as I'm talking to you, after the negotiation, after the verification, about 10 of those ages retirees died. So it is telling us that we are not feeling the pains of what the family are passing through now. So I think the union is out again. We are not going to do it like the way we did it last time, rather than we are going to meet the Honorable Minister again to let him know that yes, all is still not well in other sector, because that one fall under seafarers. If he can directed the Shippers Council to handle that, I think there's need for him to direct the new DG in Imasa to make sure that this matter is being resolved to avoid industrial crisis.
Safety in the workplace is one big issue. Can you bring us up to speed on what will be your expectation in terms of employers of labor generally attending to the safety of workers?
It's even a matter that is on my table now with my executives, where accident will happen on board the vessel. The shipping companies, the contractors, they will not take care of the accident victims. So one is in the Port Harcourt, that I'm going to show you the leg of this young guy. They almost amputate his leg, the two legs. And one of the terminal operators is asking him to come and take 1.2 million. That is as bad as that. So, and what we did was to declare trade dispute against that terminal last week. We saw that the place. I think the new port manager there was a very good woman who intervened on these issues. That I forwarded all the pictures of the young guy, and the woman was alarming. Said, why? So we are waiting for them to do the right thing. There's no how you're not going to take care of your workers. The insurance is there. If anybody had an accident, why do you insure them? Sometimes now did not even insure their workers. Talk less of pay them what belongs to them because of their doing their job when they had an accident. So we have so many problems that is affecting us on that area, which I think very soon we cry to the whole world. Those herring terminals that are not ready to comply with safety rules in line with the Port Act, so that everybody will know that they are not doing the best in terms of safety. So
on a final note, how would you rate activities in the maritime industry? Would you say that business is booming? Would you say that the inflation has affected, and how is it affecting the working force?
Well, I think we are now at the receiving end of this inflation. It's affecting the maritime sector now. Everybody are crying. Where we used to have 5 or 6 vessels in a month, hardly you see one. Some of the employers in the industry have started reducing their workers, placing them on redundant. That is what is taking place now as a result of economic situation we find ourselves. Dollars have been the champion of all this problem. Naira too is saying no. You need to marry me, so they are having crisis until when the government stabilizes it before we know where we are. So things are not the way it is now in the port. Port is like a ghost. The only people that you see working today are those one on containers, and even the containers too. The container first, how many containers are they bringing? Sometimes we do have 5 to 600 containers on on board the vessel, but now it's 100 containers. So, and you have close to 500 workers. So how do you manage them? So that calls for redundancy. That is what is taking place in shipping, in even dock workers, in everywhere. So the inflation is high. It's very high, and it's affecting all of us.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijasan. Thanks for watching, and remember that labor creates wealth.